where were you born?
I was born Flushing Hospital, New York.
Really?
I was living in Corona before I made move. My father bought the house in Jamaica.
And I assume you were married eventually?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
McCubbin is my married name.
I see. Oh, yes, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
How did you happen to get into a shelter?
Like I said, we lived in Jamaica Plains.
And
My father, my sister and I, my brother stayed there too. When I moved to Jamaica Plains, I was 9 years old, so that makes my brother 5. My sister was married on her own. Later on, she came to live with us with personal problems, and my brother comes back and forth. But things became too hectic in the house, and without help, we wasn't able to hold on to it. So we lost the house, and that's how I ended up in the shelter. I went in the shelter, and trust me, I've heard so many bad things about them. But I saw as I was in there, a lot of the bad things was brought on by the person's behavior. A lot of females in the shelter had major attitudes, like somebody owed them something. This is my point of view. Not saying this is really how they were, but this is how I foresee them. I didn't go in there with an attitude. I went in there with fear, because I had never been in that situation before. My father has taken care of us from birth until he died. After a while in there, things weren't as scary as it was in the beginning. I became a little more comfortable, and I did what my case manager told me to do. She said to go here, check this out, or go online and see. I did what she said. My curfew was 10 o'clock. Sometimes I got in late and lost my bed, but I didn't go cursing and screaming like some of the other clients did. We're all different individuals in this world. And even if you categorize them in the same place, they're still individuals. So everybody was different, and everybody believed in doing things kind of like their own way. And that's why I feel they're in there so long.
How long were you in that shelter?
I went in that shelter October of 2018, and I had a place by November 20th, 2019.
Is that this place?
Yes.
And you're happy here?
Yes, I'm content. I'm free. I don't have a curfew. That's the only thing in the shelter that drove me crazy. My granddaughter was 18 years old going on 19, and her curfew was at 12 o'clock. I had a 10 o'clock. But I'm happy here, I'm content, and I'm glad that I took that first voucher. A lot of people turned the vouchers down, try to keep getting things, requesting 2 bedrooms. They were acting like they was, I don't even know how to put that. You're sitting there like you're filling out applications for an apartment. You're in a shelter because you had nowhere to go. You're supposed to accept what you get. If you have kids, you should go in a family shelter. I have a 15-year-old that no way was I going to put him through that. So he's with my sister, even though he was with my sister before that. When she moved, she bought a house big enough to, bedrooms, enough to support and take care of my 2 babies. My baby girl is 31 now. My baby boy is only 15.
How many grandchildren do you have altogether?
Okay. By my 5, I have 8. And 3, I got 9. And 2 of them don't have babies. Only 3 of them have babies. With my stepdaughters, I have approximately 17 to 22. Because I haven't counted really, but there's abundance of us.
And did you remain friendly with anyone in the shelter? You were there for a year and a half, did you say?
No, I went in October and I was out by November the next year.
Yeah, so about a year.
I have two ladies that I kept in touch. I'm not a ladies person. Growing up, women were problems. Too much gossip, talking about, I'm not like that. I'm comfortable in my dress code, and I am, what is that, heterosexual? Straight up, no playing around with nothing. Yeah, people judge me. So I keep a wall around not to let them get to my feelings. But I did. Christina and Erica, no last names. But when they see this, they'll know it's me talking about them. Yeah, those two I keep in touch with. Erica was a little Spanish girl. She was full of vigor and life. I loved Erica. She was only like 26. She was the age of my middle son. And she reminded me so much of him. I believe that's how we bonded. But those are the only two. I don't really get along with females. That's why I don't understand God played a mean trick on me and gave me 8 daughters. But it's okay.
Do you consort with women here and where you are here?
Just my roommate.
And what about men?
I got 2 men friends here already.
You have 2 men?
Friends here.
Oh, great.
One of them is married, one of them is not. But we're not that kind of friends. We're associates.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really antisocial. I don't like people. No disrespect. I prefer to stay to myself. My best friend is my 26-year-old son and my 37-year-old daughter.
And where are they?
Both of them are in Jamaica, New York, Queens,
Oh, okay.
and Queens. But those are my best friends.
What did you think about the shelter system when you were involved in?
In some things, I really felt they could have did differently. Some of them women, like I said, had major attitudes, but a lot of them had mental problems. You are supposed to be able to deal with that kind of person. You're supposed to have that education and that training. A lot of the workers didn't show their professional side. A lot of them did. If I got into something with one of the staff, I walk away, just like I do when I get into situations anywhere. I don't want to argue with people anymore, and I don't have time for no one to be angry or hating me. So I walked away. I didn't give them lips. I didn't try to fight or, that way. The system can use some improvement, but then dealing with all the different personalities, it really is hard for them. And I see this from the client side. I'm a client. Well, it was. A lot of things could be changed. A lot of conversations are needed. Those people need communications. The supervisors, the RAs, they're understaffed. They're dealing with a lot of women.
And some of them probably could be in a shelter themselves.
Yes, a lot of the security were in shelters.
Yeah.
And a lot of the RAs were in shelters. And I couldn't understand how you were dealing with that on the outside, and then you came to us with a major attitude. But then again, maybe it's because of their living arrangement and then have to deal with somebody in that same living arrangement. I never make judgment calls on people. I try not to. A lot of women sit back and wait for things to happen. I'm blessed with my daughters. But my oldest daughter that I gave birth, she told me what to do. She helped me to find things.
You're lucky because
some people go in the shelter and are very depressed. That's why probably she sat there for 2 years waiting.
Yeah.
She said, well, maybe I'll come in here and they'll give me something. They're not giving anything away without your help. You have to help.
And they also, they do have help in psychological help for these women.
Yes.
Women can seek psychological help.
But
shelters.
I guess maybe some help that they offer, women didn't take it because they didn't want to be perceived as mentally unbalanced.
Perhaps.
Yeah, there's so many different things that you can assume about the women that are in shelters that would probably be very right half of the way and very wrong half of the way. It's a catch-22.
Yeah.
It's really a catch-22. You cannot pin the same kind of life and thoughts on everyone in there. I was talking to a man when I went to the bookstore yesterday. He was sitting on the ground asking for change. I couldn't help but stop and say to him, going to a shelter. Oh, I have a girlfriend. The shelter allows you to leave at 6 o'clock. You just gotta be back in by 10. You could spend all that time with her. Oh, but they're not gonna stop being selfish. That's another problem we have. We're very selfish. If the whole family can't go and we'd rather sit on the street on the corner begging for money. Individually go into the shelter. You might get lucky and both of y'all get an apartment. If one of y'all get an apartment before the other can join them. And this is what I said to him. If kids are involved, let her go into a family shelter. They're giving you a place quicker when you have kids. I really stood there and talked to them for like about 30 minutes. And people were looking at me, and I even heard this talking to this. I don't see people as bums. I see people as hurting and handicapped. He was hurting. He's sitting on the ground begging for money. I cannot see in my heart anyone really wanting to be in that predicament. He's hurting. And communication is so. I have unconditional love for everybody. If you don't cause me to dislike you, you're good with me. I have few friends. I have many associates. Like I said, my best friends are my kids and my grandkids. I don't trust people, but I love them all. I've went through some personal things in my life, not discussing them, that my kids could have turned their back on me, and I thought they did. But they never did. Every one of my grandkids is in my life. I love my family. There's nothing like family. God is good. Yes, I've had major problems in my life where my family could have turned their backs on me. But by the grace of God, I got myself together. I did the shelter thing. I was starting to get myself together before the shelter, but in there, I saw that my past life led me to there, and I didn't want to be like that. There was a 27-year-old girl in the shelter, and me and her got to talk. She told me she'd been in the attendance system for 10 years. You're 27, how? Where's your mother? Then I had to stop because I didn't know what her past was, but I was getting into her too hard. Her mother and father was fine. She didn't want to be there. She didn't want to live under their rules. So she took on a shelter life. So I said, you got vouchers. I don't want to use them. I get 3 hots and a cot, and all I gotta do is miss my curfew, and they restart my paperwork. This is what she said to me. 10 years she's been doing this. She gets her own money, parties, do what she wanna do. She feels she's very free. It's like having
Where
a
does
home.
she get her own money from? What do you mean?
I think she has a disability check, maybe. Not sure. Never really asked, but I know the young lady did have a check day. I remembered that because on check days when she would stay out late. I couldn't see myself being in that situation more than 2 years. And really, I probably would have walked out in 2 years.
But I think age makes a difference too, don't you?
When how they help you in there?
No,
No.
and what you need in your life.
Maturity. Maturity comes with age and time. Yeah, I've matured a lot in the past 3 years. That is crazy. In the past 3 years, I've turned my life over to God. I go to church on Sundays, Bible studies on Wednesday. I read my Bible constantly. I'm on a fixed income. I'm in a, what they call it, housing, rent control. Right now I'm getting public assistance because my disability hasn't been finished. But public assistance is paying my share, which is only $215. Housing is paying the rest. I'm blessed. God is good to me. When we decided to sell the house, my sister went to PA, but I didn't want to leave New York to leave my kids. But I didn't want my sister to leave. She's a very important factor in my life. As I said, I wasn't a good kid at young, having babies, got in a little bit of trouble, and she was there to hold me down. So, I have this in PA. I have this, and she tells me anytime I want to come, I have a room. Can't leave my big kids. Can't leave my grandbabies, honestly.